Hi there, welcome to this week's Inside Track with the Scottish Sun. I've got Jim Delahunt here with me as usual. Jim, the big freeze is over. It's down to Berkshire for the Winter Million at Windsor today, Ascot tomorrow, Windsor again on Sunday. We've got great racing at Haydock. I mean, if you've had a look at the cards, it's fantastic stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Robert, absolutely tremendous. I mean, it was so disappointing to lose all the racing last weekend, apart from the all weather stuff, of course. And we've had tracks that have been so desperate to race, they've been starting but not finishing. Ayers had a couple of days already, and they've been allocated an extra fixture on Monday, which means they're racing Monday and Tuesday. That should keep the northern trainers happy. I know Nick Alexander's already been on record on Twitter saying that he's delighted there's an extra meeting in the north, which means a double day down at Ayr Monday, Tuesday. I just think that the weather forecast looking over the next 7 days or so looks very good for racing. So we have to take advantage of it while we can. And let's hope we can get a lot of really good racing in before another cold snap comes, because there's no doubt, Robert, another one will.
This Winter Million initiative, it's been moved from Lingfield to Windsor this year and Ascot to make it the full weekend. I mean, how important is that in the calendar now, or how important could it become? Because there is a kind of fallow period after we get all the great Christmas racing out of the way, and then focus kind of switches to Cheltenham. How important is it? We don't have a Dublin Racing Festival equivalent, but do you see British racing maybe be able to build up towards something similar? Obviously, maybe not have the same quality, but maybe build this up to a kind of a feature 3 day meeting in future.
You took the words right out of my mouth, but mentioning the Dublin Racing Festival, because Ireland aren't bothered. They've got that lovely meeting right in the middle between the Christmas Fair and Cheltenham, the Dublin Racing Festival, Leopardstown. We could make something big of this. As I'll allude to as we're going on with the racing at Windsor, I'm just not sure about the track so far, and a lot of people will be in the same boat. Yes, we had a look at it 5 weeks ago just to see how it was coming back into the scheme of things after being a long time away from jump racing. So we'll find out a lot about Windsor over the weekend, whether it's a track that does justify all that money that's been thrown at it. I mean, I'm not sure the fields on Sunday are just as good as they thought they might be. Well, again, we'll talk about that as the program goes on, Robert. But Ascot on Saturday, that's a really good card, and you couldn't really ask for much more than the showdown that we're getting in the Clarence House Chase between. I was going to say Edwardstone, that might be third. I was going to say Energy Mean and John Bond. Those are the big two. And we can't ask for a better race. Okay, there's only four runners, but we're looking forward to that on Saturday. And quite a good card built around that as well. But yes, I see where you're coming from. I hope that this 3 day fixture can become something very good in the future. I just have something in my head about Windsor. We have to see how good a track that is in terms of attracting the good horses.
Well, there's no doubt that Ascot's a Grade 1 track, and we'll start off there with the Clarence House Chase. Now, you're a man that's taken on John Bond several times. You know, you were licking your wounds the last time. Energy Mean, 11-year-old now. Is he as good as ever? I mean, Clash with Shishkin was one for the ages. Do you see this one taking the same shape, and who do you think will come out on top?
It really is astonishing when you look at the stats for this race, because Energy Mean 11 from 13 over fences, John Bond 11 from 13 over fences, Energy Mean 13 out of 16 overall, John Bond 16 out of 19 overall. These really are two top class 2 mile chasers. I know I've taken on John Bond before and I've had my fingers burnt. I'm taking him on again because Energy Mean I know you're shaking your head. Energy Mean is 9-4 here for a double champion chaser and a double Punchestown champion chaser at 9-4 odds against in this race. I'm fully aware he was beaten by Shishkin a couple of years ago now, that back in 2022. Shishkin was rated 172 then. John Bond's rated 170 now. Energy Mean was only beaten a length. Okay, he's 11 now. But John Bond's a 9-year-old as well. John Bond could be at his peak. Energy Mean could be on the way down. We're going to find that out on Saturday, Robert. But I think at the prices, Energy Mean was very impressive at Cork on his comeback. It was a Grade 2. That form hasn't been fully tested yet, but I think it was a good race. And I'm going to go for Paul Townend on Energy Mean to upset the apple cart with John Bond. I thought Townend was absolutely outstanding on Banbridge in the King George, which of course I flagged up at a good price. And I'm banking on Townend over here at Ascot on Saturday, getting Energy Mean home. I think he'll get the tactics right. John Bond's the one to beat, clearly. Edwardstone's running for third prize money, but Energy Mean for me in the Clarence House at the prices.
We've got Willie Mullins also sent another one across. Cardies for Kenny Alexander. Now, his colours have been synonymous with great mares over the years. I mean, the form with Masborough and Sergino, she's a class above here. Won't be a bet for me at these prices, but it'll be good to see her back with a view to the Mares Hurdle at Cheltenham, won't it?
Yeah, she's a Grade One winner at Punchestown, Robert. She shouldn't be beaten. I know it's that she's been a long time off the track, but Townend in the saddle again really shouldn't be beaten at these weights. I think that Take No Chances for the Skeltons looks to be the main danger. But Carjess, fully fit. You would expect the way the Mullins horses have been coming out after long breaks in Ireland over the last few days, few weeks, that Carjess will have no problems with fitness. And this Mares Hurdle, it's a Class 1, not a list. Oh, it's a Grade 2 in actual fact. I think that Carjess should be the winner here. It's going to be odds on. I don't think it's worth a bet. I'll rather back Energy Mean later on.
And then we've got a fascinating handicap hurdle at 250. Maybe we both like one. I mean, you like Altabelli, I like Beau Zenith. Do you want to go through your case for Altabelli?
Yeah, this horse is cut up a little bit because there's a very good similar race at Windsor on Friday, Robert, and a lot of the horses were doubly entered here. But it's still a decent prize. It's a £30,000 handicap hurdle. Altabelli's been entered up a few times as well, hasn't been able to get a run. Harry Fry and Brian Carver teaming up here. He's a fascinating horse because he's been second and third in big, valuable handicaps here at Ascot before. I think that because this race is cut up, it gives him a real good chance here. I know that you're going to make a case for Beau Zenith in just a minute or so, but Altabelli for me, cheek pieces on for the first time. I don't think the handicap mark's going to budge too much. So the cheek pieces might just take a difference. Brian Carver, underrated jockey in my book. Harry Fry knows how to get them ready for the big occasion. Altabelli for me, but I know you're going to make the case for Nicky Henderson's horse.
Well, I mean, Beau Zenith at Cheltenham the last time, when you saw the result come through and you saw he was third, you actually had to rewind it and figure out how that was
Yeah,
possible. Because he was detached at the bottom of the hill, two out, and just completely flew up the hill to finish third. I think he was only beaten about 5.5 lengths
yeah.
by Mirabad, Reckless Eric. I mean, it was crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. First run for Nicky Henderson after switching for Gary Moore. I think the step up and tip to 2 mile 3 here will definitely help. I mean, he looked that day at Cheltenham. He'd been off a long break, right enough, but he looked that day once he got back into his racing, he just zoomed up the hill. And a mark 138 for a horse that was beating Blood Destiny in France, which is now rated I think 150. So a mark 138 could be very very light for him, and I don't think he'll be far away. I think he's favourite now anyway, but I
Yeah.
don't think he'll be far away.
Yeah, I think if I'm doing the play spot, Robert, I'll put both in, Beau Zenith and Altabelli. I should have said about Altabelli, second to Jungle Jack last time now. The McCains think Jungle Jack is a very good horse. He hasn't shown it very often, but he showed it that day. And I think that was a very good run from Altabelli.
Yeah, cheers for that, and then we'll head up to Haydock where the going's going to be pretty deep, I would imagine. And does that affect your selection in the 12-10, Jim? Ned Tanner?
Yeah, it certainly does not because Ned Tanner will thrive in this heavy ground. Nick Alexander's horses in really good form. The opportunities he's had to run them, like everybody else, he's had horses declared everywhere and they haven't been able to get a run because of the weather. But Ned Tanner did run 19 days ago over course and distance, won very nicely. Danny McMenamin was in the plate that day. Sean Quinlan, one of Nick's go-to jockeys, takes over on this occasion. No problem there. He's ridden the horse before. He's up £4 for that victory last time, but I think there's a lot left in this horse's mark. And I think 2.5 miles on heavy ground at Haydock. He's actually down in class. He's down from Class 3 to Class 4 for this race. And I think we'll still get a price. So Ned Tanner for me in the 12-10.
Yeah, and 12:45, Ninth Lock was a horse that we talked about a few weeks ago. Harry Derham, stable, back in form after his Gallops disaster, and he's been entered everywhere. The big
Yeah.
three kind of stopped me. He's about 5 or 6 entries that have all fallen by the wayside. So I'll stick with him in the 12:45. Same case as before. The form of the Wall Park when he was trained in Ireland looks pretty good. You know, he's a winner in France. He's in here off 122. And the French, as we've discussed before, it's very difficult to handle what that French form's worth. 122 could be very, very light. It could be it could be spot on. The money came for him the last time overnight.
Yeah,
I know
it
it
did.
doesn't take too much to move those markets, but the money really came for him overnight and early morning before the his last race that he was supposed to be running got called off. So I would take that as a positive sign that somebody in that stable thinks 122 is pretty good. The fact he's been entered so many times, he's ready to run. So I'll stick with him in the 12:45. And then what about the 120, Jim?
The 120, I'm going to start here with a Sandy Thomson horse. Sandy, the winner at Newcastle on Thursday. Horse is running well. It's a horse called I Am Max. I know they rate this horse very highly indeed. I think he's quite nicely handicapped here. He's in off 11 stone 6. The top weight Nordic Tigers got 12 stone 1. He was second at Kelso last time. I thought that was a really good run. He's down from class 3 to class 4. He's only up a pound for that effort, and I think Sandy's probably found a nice race for him here. And I know when I interviewed Ryan Mania after this horse ran at Ayr last season, he really rated him very highly indeed. So I Am Max, down from class 3 to class 4, second at Kelso last time. That's going to be my selection at the 120. And I'm going for Sandy in the next race as well, Robert. It's the Rossington Main. It's a grade 2 over 2 miles. And he's got Dedicated Hero in this race. Again, Ryan's in the saddle. Skips the opportunity to go for the handicap hurdle at 12.45 to run in this grade 2. Dan Skelton's Royal Infantry is the obvious one here. Will probably be favourite. In fact, most definitely will be favourite. But Dedicated Hero, definitely a horse which is on the upgrade and might just be worth a bet at 7-2. I think 7-2 is not a bad price against an odds-on chance.
And then we've got the Peter Marsh in the same card where Royal Pagaille, the Betfair Chase winner, dual Betfair Chase winner, comes back to his beloved Haydock. Now, he's another one that's now 11 years of age. He's carrying a stack of weight. It's going to be knee deep. Is that what he's built for? Do you see him going in again?
Yeah, I do. I can't really see anything to beat Royal Pagaille. I know it's a handicap. He's given away lumps of weight, and we'll mention one or two in the passing, but I think 3 miles and a half, 1.5 furlongs round Haydock, probably absolutely perfect for Venetia Williams' horse. Her horses haven't deteriorated in form despite the cold snap. When they are running well. Charlie Deutsch riding as well as ever. He's a terrific chase jockey, as we all know. So Royal Pagaille, for me, I think he'll outslog this lot. I know you fancy Imagine. You can tell me about that in a minute. But I think we should mention Mr. Vango because we were both on this one at Sandown. Absolutely brilliant ride from Nico de Bonville that day. And surprisingly, I thought the runner-up came out and flanked the form at Wincanton on Thursday. That was Collector's Item. Came out and won a very good race at Wincanton on Thursday. That's a big boost for Mr. Vango's form. He's got the tongue-tie cheek piece combination for the first time. He's worn both of them separately before. I think Sarah Bradstock has to do everything possible to get this horse to go forward over this shorter trip. Remember, he's down to 3 miles, 1.5 today. Jack Tudor takes over from Nico, who's otherwise engaged elsewhere. Mr. Vango will run well. I just think 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs against a very classy Royal Pagaille is too much. So Royal Pagaille for me. But I think you imagine another horse might win.
Well, possibly. I mean, he's certainly an interesting one. It's this Imagine for Harry Derham was one of these horses at the Caldwell dispersal sale last year, £320,000 buy. Anybody that's on racing Twitter knows they'll have seen this league table of how that's been a disaster and everybody's spunked their money. But this one's got a bit of interesting back form, beating Spillane's Tower and beating I Know the Way You're Thinking. He was run at Cheltenham in November and he was pulled up and Harry Derham said that there was the quicker ground. He needs much softer ground, which he'll certainly get here. I just think that, I mean, Royal Pagaille's obviously the class angle in it. You've got Chalon as well, who looks an up-and-coming steer. But the other ones look pretty exposed to me. And this thing's just turned 7. Derham's a good trainer. I like just his back form, I think probably he'd be well worth an each-way bet, especially with the dead 8. He's 8-1 just now with the dead 8. I think that's probably a solid each-way bet.
Well, fingers crossed we don't get a non-runner and you get your each-way value there, Robert. Just a quick mention from me before we move on to Windsor on Sunday for the 3:05 race at Haydock's, a 3 miles handicap hurdle. Inox Allen, I know you've mentioned Lucinda Russell. We've both mentioned Lucinda Russell going so well. She drops Inox Allen back over hurdles today, despite a very promising run over fences last time. The one I'm going to go for here, though, Good Look Charm, not Good Luck Charm, Good Look Charm, trained by Anthony Honeyball, whose horses are absolutely flying. Chad Beaumont takes off £10 here. Up £5 for winning at Sandown last time. I was going to tip it up for the Lanzarote last week, Robert, and of course the meeting was off. I'm sticking with Good Luck. I've fallen into the trap, having a Good Luck Charm. It's Good Look Charm for Anthony Honeyball, and that's in the 3:05. What's I mentioned there?
Yeah, the other one I'd like to mention that you made a good point about Inox Allen. I was told at the start of the season Inox Allen was a potential star 3 mile chaser for the Lucinda Russell stable this year. So it was interesting to see him entered over hurdles here. Now, I know he had a few engagements over the festive period that went fell by the wayside. So I just wondering if they maybe think he's still a novice after what was an eye-catching enough run at you talked in his Chase debut. So he's still a novice. So I just wonder if they're maybe drawing stumps with the chasing and now next year and have a full campaign with him. We'll wait and see on that. But the one I thought was interesting was for Rebecca Menzies was Fonzarelli,
Yeah.
which was really eye-catching after I think it was 2 years off the track at Carlisle the last time. Cruised up into contention, about three out the bottom of the hill, and just the 2 years off just told he just popped. Now this horse has got some really interesting back form. Beat Get a Tonic, which is now rated 133 for the Skeltons, a good animal. And Mayor Marsh Wren, who's 147 over fences, only beat it a nose at Hexham. So the decent bit of back form there. The comeback run was encouraging enough. Rebecca Menzies is a really good up and coming trainer in the north. So I would keep an eye on that one. It's certainly if it's getting backed, I would certainly pay a bit close attention to it. It's also back down after the Doncaster win in a listed race when it beat Get a Tonic. It's now back. It went up to 130. It's now back to 120. So it looks pretty well handicapped.
Yeah, I totally agree with your assessment of Rebecca Menzies. Up and coming trainer, and the horses are getting gradually better.
Yeah.
I think she's going to make her mark very, very soon, Robert. Sunday at Windsor, we have to leave time for that because it is a big card. And of course, we have Ahoy Senor going for the Fleur du Lys chase over 2 3/4 miles. The ground looks okay. The trip looks okay. We think the track might be a little bit like Aintree in terms of nice and flat and sharp bends. Do we think it's going to win?
I feel a bit like I'm stuck in that last episode of Blackadder where they've done everything to get out of it, but you're strapping on the gun and you're over the top again, running towards the gunfire. But
this is it.
But we did say this at the Betfair Chase as well. But I think when people see the conditions of this race and realise he's getting weight from everything, I wouldn't say. I mean, he's been 6 to 1 at the start of the week. You think he was 4 to 1 the last 4 to 1, 5 to 1 the last price I saw. I think he could end up going off favourite here. When people see that Protectorat, who's rated £3 inferior to him, has to give him £8. Jello has to give him £8. Le Patron, who is £15 below him in the official handicap ratings, has to give him 8, but a £22 difference. Now, we'll find out later today about the way Windsor's going to ride. That meeting at December the 15th, you had to be up with the pace.
Yeah.
There's only one horse came from off the pace to win, which would suggest to me that Lucinda and Scoo and Derek Fox will have been watching that. They'll watch how it pans out today. They've got 2 runners in the card today. I think you'll see the riding tactics back to more familiar, going out in front. And the way Windsor's been set up with this kind of egg timer shape, it's not too dissimilar to the Mildmay course at Aintree with those sharp bends at the end. And I think everybody has in their mind that Aintree's a big sweeping course, but that Mildmay course is actually very, very tight. That's where he's been at his best. If they can kid him on that he's at Aintree, maybe get a couple of people with Scouse accents to speak to him before the race or something. They maybe work the miracle and he can go out and win.
Yeah, the winner horse I want to mention, I'm going to back Ahoy Senor as well. Hands up, I'm going to back Ahoy Senor. But the winner horse I want to mention is Journey With Me for Henry de Bromhead. His horses had gone 27 runs without a winner since Hogmanay, but they've started to finish first, second, first this week. Interesting that Dara comes over to ride this, despite the fact that Rachel is at the meeting as well. So he's putting Dara on Journey With Me. And Journey With Me runs here instead of what looked a very winnable opportunity at Thurles on the same day on Sunday. So fascinating that the Bromhead is coming over with that horse. That's the horse I would put up as the danger. But Ahoy Senor for me. And fingers crossed that this is a day, Robert, because I don't think there's any other place he can go other than on from here as a winner to the Gold Cup and to Aintree.
Well, that seems to be the plan for him anyway. But I just think when you look at the conditions of the race, if he's ever going to win a race, this is it. The soft ground probably no ideal for him, but there's no rain forecast over the weekend, so it will quicken up. The configuration of the track should suit him. The running style should suit him. But we've been here before, Jim. We've been here before, and really the only person who knows if Ahoy Senor is going to win is Ahoy Senor himself.
Exactly. Let's watch that race with interest. Let's hope we get our money with interest. I'm going to put up another Henry de Bromhead one to look at. I'm not tipping it. Just keep an eye on Arctic Brazil in the handicap chase over 2 miles at 155. I'm just not sure yet, Robert, whether this is just filling the box along with Journey With Me. But Rachel Blackmore, as I said, is coming over to ride at Arctic Brazil. well handicapped to win this, has loads of weight in hand if he's at his best. The trouble is, hasn't shown it for some time. So keep an eye on Arctic Brazil. But a couple I'm going to mention is selections here at Windsor on Sunday, both trained by Ben Pauling, both ridden by Ben Jones. I'm going to go for One Way West in the Novices Handicap Hurdle at 12:45. Second over course and distance 5 weeks ago, so he has had a sighter for this race. The handicapper spotted that, Robert, so up £4. But I think One Way West will probably win that. And the other Ben Pauling horse I'm really interested in the 2:30, it's the 3 miles handicap hurdle, and that's Samuel Spade. I think this is a poor race. I really think it's a poor race. This horse has got solid form at 2.5, up to 3 miles today. The fact that the Skeltons are running Gwenny May Boy, which only just won at Newcastle on Thursday, they've declared it again for Sunday. That is surely an afterthought. Samuel Spade for me, hopefully giving Ben Pauling a really good day.
Thanks very much, Jim. Thanks, folks, and good luck with your bets this weekend. And join us next week for the Ahoy Senor post-mortem or party, one of the two.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers. Goodbye.